Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 426 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. Today was a big day for the Snyder Cut fans, but alas, no Snyder Cut yet. This is all about HBO Max today. It was a big HBO Max Media Day event for them, and I can't help being a little disappointed. I didn't get to be part of the stream. I didn't get to watch the stream. I came on after the fact, but I grabbed what I can. Basically, not much of DC films, like at all. At all. Okay, there are a bunch of DC content that are coming out for HBO Max, though, if you're interested. The biggest one, I think, is Green Lantern. A Green Lantern TV series with Grace Randolph saying it has a $100 million budget on it, which means, hopefully, and I think it's live action, that they can do a pretty good job with making a quality content out of that. Though it is Greg Berlanti, after all, of CW Fair, and I haven't really enjoyed too much of CW's DC so far. Although he was involved in some things, but like a little bit of Titans and even the Green Lantern movie, I think. But I'm not really too excited for that. It's cool that Green Lantern's finally getting his live action, and I'm wondering if they pulled away Jeff Johns' Green Lantern movie and decided to make a TV series instead for HBO Max. That could possibly be it. And I don't think Green Lantern, Jeff Johns may not even be involved in Green Lantern. He had nothing much to say about it, other than it's a television series, and he can't reveal any more things about it. The other one is an anthology series called DC Strange Adventures. And according to this, this anthology series is a cautionary tale set in a world where superpowers exist, and in what promises to be our biggest DC show ever made, which is going to space, is Green Lantern TV series. But he can't reveal any more about those things just yet. The anthology series, to me, almost seems like The Boys in its sense, but based in DC, so that's going to be kind of interesting. Although I thought there were other shows that didn't Vanessa Hudgens was going to be in one of those shows, and they had a pilot or something where it's set in DC and they have to clean up the mess or something. I remember something like that, but alas, this is not it. And of course, Elizabeth Banks has her own show. It's a cartoon coming out, and nothing that really perks my interest in that state of affairs. Are they going to make films, though? And I've talked about this, that there's 10,000 hours of content, which includes a lot of classic films, all the DC films in the last decade, and it's interesting. They always pull up the little different Twitter accounts, actually pull up like Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and Wonder Woman, and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see that they're still respecting a little bit of Zack Snyder's work, but I want to know if they're going to have any films in there. Well, it's being reported by Variety that HBO Max wants Warner Brothers to produce 8 to 10 films or more, with budgets on par with feature films that will likely include DC properties and projects overseen by J.J. Abrams. And I think this is probably the more interesting, I think, of this whole thing, as I am about films and a lot about DC films. So if they are going to do that, then that would seem right, as Disney Plus is doing that. Disney Plus is putting out their own original movies, spin-offs of the Avengers, Loki and stuff like that. And I believe those are movies. So it would only make sense that HBO Max does the same thing, right? It has to be content made specifically for HBO Max, and in this case, DC content. This is something that I'm looking for, not necessarily just TV series, but I'm hoping for an actual films. I mean, they're doing things like they've saved Doom Patrol, I'd like to see them save Swamp Thing. I'd like to see them save Krypton, and you know, even bring a lot of the DC universe into here to this $14.99, streaming service. That there should be that kind of content available for us. And of course, I don't know, the Snyder Cut. So there's no Snyder Cut. Nothing was announced today. Nothing. Although it is incredible to see the Snyder Cut fan movement completely going to almost every response, and I've done this after the fact. I wish I was part of it, but retweeting and tweeting and commenting on every HBOMAX post for them to talk about the Snyder Cut. Of course, ignored completely. Although it did kick up, it was trending along with HBO Max release of Snyder Cut. It was, so that should make a little bit of noise, if anything. It's not like they don't know already. It's just that maybe they don't know how to respond to it yet, but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see about that. I didn't really expect any release during HBO Max, but that would have been kind of cool, a nice surprise if it actually did. But at least we got two other Snyder Cut things. One is something that is very small, but apparently J.C. Eisenberg, he has never heard of Snyder Cut, and he has not watched the Justice League movie. So this was his reaction in terms. This is from Flix and the City. This is a full interview where they asked him about the Snyder Cut and what his response to about that.
Does the Snyder Cut exist?
Does the Snyder Cut?
The Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
I thought you were still talking about steaks, and I was like,
maybe.
oh yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
the Snyder cut of a filet.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea. Wait, I don't understand.
Me neither. Wink, wink. We don't know.
Well, no, I genuinely don't know.
Okay, so you don't actually. Okay,
wait,
yeah.
what are you referring to?
So there's this whole
like a director's cut.
Yeah, so there's this whole movement out there about how the Snyder cut of Justice League is like significantly better than the Joss Whedon like reshoots and everything like that of Justice League.
Oh,
so
God,
the cut of the movie just from Zack Snyder.
Yes.
Oh, I have no idea, no clue, zero.
Obviously,
nothing.
you were in the stinger.
Yeah, I was in. I think I was in some other scenes too, but I don't know if they're. I guess they're not in the movie. So they turned it into not behind the scenes. What do they call that?
Like
after the credits.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes. Yeah, they put. I'm in the blooper. Yeah. So right, but no, I have no idea. I wasn't really around for the process. I know some of the stuff they were doing is amazing. Also, I'm friends with like the writer Chris Terrio, so I read his original draft, and yeah, there's stuff that probably is not in the movie. Obviously, that because I haven't seen the movie. That was there. Yeah, I'm sure.
Especially considering that's a movie that they spent millions to CGI out a mustache. Yes. So
what?
Oh, you didn't hear about
you
this
don't know
either?
That? Oh my goodness! Get out of town.
So they filmed this like after the start. You guys wrapped up filming Justice League. Henry Cavill did Mission Impossible, where he has a mustache.
Okay.
And Henry Cavill he had
and it's glorious, by the way.
Amazing
Great
mustache.
Sure.
So Universal said, we're not going to let you like shave the mustache because it's important to the character. We already started filming. So instead of him shaving it, they CGI'd the mustache off of Henry Cavill's face, and it is extremely noticeable.
Cost a lot of money, and they.
Yeah, so there's a look at it compared to.
Oh wow! Oh, how strange.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was,
how strange.
It was all for about like maybe at most like 2 minutes of footage or something like that.
Really?
Like a $7 million reshoot.
Fascinating.
Like,
it's really interesting.
They couldn't green screen you and CGI you onto the boat. You had to go shave your head and go all the way back.
But that was like the greatest thing of all time. I got to go to Monaco and go on a yacht.
Yeah, that is pretty great.
That was awesome.
So not surprised. Jesse Eisenberg has said before that he doesn't watch any of his films that he's made. He doesn't. That's just not his thing. He's not in social media at all. He's kind of like just very much out of the loop, if you will, on everything. So I'm not surprised that he doesn't know about the Snyder Cut. He does look interested or well, and also bewildered that the studio would have done that with the whole mustache thing and all. He does reveal that there were some scenes that are probably not in the movie, and some of that is actually towards the end of the movie, rather in between the movie. So he heard about that. So that's something interesting as well. What other scenes is he talking about, or is he just mentioning the boat? At all, but I'm very curious about that, so that's very interesting. The next thing about the Snyder Cut, and this is probably a great confirmation, this is coming from Screen Rant, the Justice League Snyder Cut score is done. This is finally confirmed by Junkie XL, Tom Hokenberg. He actually got in an official interview with Screen Rant, saying this: at Screen Rant, we are obsessed with the Justice League Zack Snyder cut. If you know what I'm getting at. Tom Hokenberg replies, of course. Is that music off limits to you? You did the score for the movie before it was changed, and I'm sure you're really proud of it. Would love to put it out somewhere, somehow. Can you do that? And Tom Hokenberg says, well, I definitely could, but I won't. The full score is still there. It's really great score, and it's just there. It never goes away. We'll see what happens in the future, So, do you think we're ever gonna get to hear it? And Tom says, I have no comment on that, but I'm just saying it's there, the full tracks. So, I really intrigued by his response there. First of all, it's completely done. Whether it's put together into the movie, I have no idea. But to him, it is done. It's complete. It's composed. All the tracks are there. And you kind of go back to that tweet he had before, where he talked about it being done before this tweet right here. So, when you draw from this tweet, you're thinking that maybe he's just talking about come together. But, it's maybe done. A lot of people are saying at that time it's completely done. It's 100% done. But I think this is finally we've gotten an actual confirmation, if you will, by Tom Hokenberg, Junkie XL, that it is the full tracks are there. That the score is complete. It's not just the come together song, but the full score is there. But I'm also just trying to figure out what he's saying there, and I wish we can see a video of this, to see how he pauses, how he says things, maybe he smiles here and there, because it really is compelling when he says the full score is still there, because he said, I definitely could. He could release it, but I won't. Why won't he if he could, right? The full score is still there. It's really great score, and it's just there. It never goes away. We'll see what happens in the future, So I'm feeling, as being an optimistic sucker, I'm feeling what he's trying to say. Why would he release it when you can be a part of that musical experience when you watch the movie? I'm thinking, is he trying to relay here that it is coming out? Well, we'll see what happens in the future, and I wonder if he smiles, and the fact that it's there in the movie. Maybe it's already there in the movie. Is he trying to kind of hint at that aspect, that why would I bring out the tracks for you to listen to when it's right there in the movie? It's ready for you. So, and also, he has no comment on if we're ever going to hear it. He's just saying it's there, the full tracks. I'm feeling like, and I don't have anything about this. I'm just feeling from what I'm reading here, and I so wish there was a video we could see about this. That it just sounds like he's feeling like we're gonna watch it one day, and then why would we want to listen to all those tracks now? Because it exists in that movie. And why don't we just experience his musical scores for Justice League when we finally get to watch the Snyder Cut of Justice League? So, I mean, I'm just being overly optimistic about that, and really excited to see what he's got in store. This is for people who already knew that his song exists, but it hasn't been open in the public in terms of a tweet and saying I have the full tracks and everything. For people who are denying that Junkie XL even completed the score, well, here it is. He says it himself. He's got the full tracks. He completely did it. He's got the score in there, and maybe, quite possibly, it's already integrated into the movie. Who knows, right? Because we don't know what Zack Snyder has been doing for the past 2 years. But in any case, I think this was a great event for the Snyder Cut fandom to come together, got it to trend a little bit, and essentially just make a lot of noise. I've seen even tweets from people who just are still like, what is the Snyder Cut? And actually are interested in it. There are check marks that actually said, had comments about the Snyder Cut, which actually adds to the noise as well. So I think this is a good event today, regardless of what any or non-answers we got from HBO Max in terms of that. But like I said, this is just a media event. There are movies planned for the streaming service, and they could or could not be Zack Snyder related, but at least we'll get another way to watch DC films instead of what's coming out in theaters and it's as such. So very curious to see what's up with that and what J.J. Abrams has planned for this, and also if there's any more noise about the Snyder Cut that will be explored, will be looked at in these coming weeks. So hopefully, crossing your fingers for that. It is getting close to November 17th of Justice League's original release date. I believe another planned event for that is to get Release the Snyder Cut to trend on that day as well. So let's make it happen. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.